Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Lang Mini Studios, and Chase, better known as Kilk, as we talk about Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop gaming. Marik and the memory tablets. And at this point, I just want to say, don't forget to subscribe, as you will not miss... I don't want you to miss this kind of wild final battle as we go into it, because it was a finale. This is straight lifted out of Baldur's Gate 3. Supposed to hold it, basically use some sort of minor action or action to kind of look into it. And that was the big thing, not just hold it or throw it. You had to concentrate on it a bit.
Yeah. And Marik goes,
and
nope.
All those tablets were the Overseer's autobiography.
No one wants to read that.
Or watch it. It is the backstory from the point of the Far Realm and actually when Rathgrith became the secret sleeper agent that Gilvickle...
Oh, okay, that could have been useful.
And it was from the very beginning. When she was a warlock.
Oh, wow.
He tadpoled her then, and then he did the brand new super tadpole.
The super tadpole.
after she became a fire goddess, because he realized
that the fire goddess
she could probably burn it out of her head if she realized it.
Okay.
Oh, if she'd found it.
And that was the big twist with that. It kind of landed a little bit with Gilvickle kind of explaining, listen, I am still a Void Rider, and I've been playing stupid a lot more than what I have, because she did fully heal me, and that was the other big reveal. I was I've been sandbagging it basically this entire time. But
I thought I could trust you.
And then he's my loyalty's to her. I'm a Void Rider. We are here to fight these things. It landed a bit with the group, not as any sort of impactful meaning, I don't think, but
just oh, okay, yeah.
It let you know where his loyalties lie.
Yeah.
And honesty.
It's just kind of one of those things to where, I think all of us were kind of either forgot or remembered that way back in the beginning when we found out that Gil was a Void Rider. It was oh, okay. Oh, yeah, but...
and at the end of the spark, he did say, she healed me, and no one questioned it.
Oh, okay. Healing's a thing, you know?
Well, we assume that she healed him because we knew that he was one of her allies beforehand.
Yeah.
And that she would probably want him viable for whatever fight was to come.
Mm-hmm. But it was interesting that even though he was quote unquote loyal and all of this, he still went kind of out of his way to help us.
Mm.
You know? He put that he put the enchantment on her old sword to sever the spark from her and to do all of that.
And then that was explained in our Artificer Sanctum episode, if you want to go back and watch that one.
Yep.
Was he did this because he knew if she reached for too much power, it would corrupt.
Yeah.
Which is another overarching theme of this campaign.
Yeah. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah. So it, for Gilvickle, it made sense, even though his brain has been in his third body now.
Third body. It's been tapioca. It's been.
Yeah. Gee, poor Gil.
But just as kind of everything winds down that session, we're now going into the final session.
Yeah. Getting ready for the big final fight.
And not everybody's story ended happy. I'm just going to go straight into how I read it. You guys kind of talked it out in the brain room. You did your short rest, used your potions.
And hit dice, yep.
Flint did his foresight on Marik, which basically gave him advantage to almost everything. It's a level 9 spell.
Yeah, thank God.
Or as he affectionately called it, his super inspiration.
Super inspiration, yeah.
And then he whispers in your... And he touches the side of your face. You've been super inspired by me. You guys get that twist with Gilvickle, and then you realize, he knows that we're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the brain connection severed and all that, and you guys are kind of go back to the main room to go put the puzzle pieces back in the door to open the grove, and the door is open.
Yeah, I know. That was I was like
Which
for a
would
split
not-
second I was minorly irritated about that. But then I went, that's actually freaking amazing because it's building to that point of we've been trying to get these keys to this door.
Right.
And we finally got them. We almost died getting the final pieces. And who opened this door?
He did.
Yeah. And so it's just like,
And
holy cow.
it was supposed to add to that tension. It's like he's known we were
Yeah.
coming the entire time.
Yeah, it just built that, oh, we're playing into his hands. Got it.
The entire time?
Maybe not the entire time, or maybe he didn't know everything the entire time, but he knew you were coming. I mean, in Beholder lore, they are so paranoid they plot out every single thing, and this thing's
Sure,
like a
yeah.
super Beholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got 25 Beholder minds basically playing paranoid,
Paranoid
what if?
Paranoid fifth dimension chess.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
They've got
and with a 26 to 28 intelligence, it would make sense that he's guessed.
yeah.
I actually, when I was reading the flavor text going into the Grove, I actually got a little bit of a reaction out of Vicky and out of Tove, just like going into that detail. And it really got a reaction out of Tove. And I'm just going to actually read verbatim because I copy and pasted it onto my little notes here of the cavern narrows and bends, twisting fungal walls, parting like a wound, revealing a vast chamber shrouded in phosphorescent gloom. The air is heavier here, thick with psychic pressure, as if it's pressing on your very mind, as if your thoughts are now being dragged through syrup. The mushrooms that were here, that was a once verdant grove, no longer resemble natural growths. They have become warped, spine things, some fused into towering grotesque monoliths. A few twitch even at your presence, back and forth. Others ooze black ichor into a pooling brine that floods this chamber floor as you come up into it. And then I explain in the very back of the room, you see this big, hulking, 30-foot tall creature that's right in front of us.
Yeah.
And that if any of you guys want to see, go check out pretty much all our social medias at this point. I don't think Chase has posted it, but me and Brent have for sure. We'll make Chase post it as well, maybe.
I took pictures of the fight.
I know we got to get you to post them a little bit and kind of show some of your esports people the big nasty thing you fought. What were your guys' thoughts going into this final fight, not fully knowing whether Rathgrith would be right there or whether she was going to be the after battle, knowing she was this sleeper agent that's probably been activated? And after you guys found out from the main battle with, I think it was Gilvical doing sending, that she had disappeared from the main battle.
Mm-hmm. Going into it, I thought it was going to be a Rathgrith was going to be later.
Yeah.
But once they said that Rathgrith was gone, I was kind of okay. I was kind of thinking she's going to show up here, and I was fully prepared for that because all I did was, oh well, I'm going to use my red ship sooner than I thought I was.
Yeah.
You know,
It was for me as a DM because I knew personally out of the game that there's going to be some gaps in between here of us playing just because of it's the summer.
yeah.
It's like, let's just throw this big finale into one big final finale.
And you made it work.
This episode's been brought to you by, in the age of sagas and songs, don't let your next TTRPG be left to the Norns alone. Let the fate of your character be carved in runes and cast in metal, liquid core, or prismatic glass. Let the players of your table wield dice worthy of Odin, Thor, Loki, and yes, Heimdall. Heimdall dice, dice worthy of guarding the Bifrost with. Claim the glory of Valhalla with HeimdallDice.com. Heimdall Dice, the official Nordic dice of the Hermit's Homebrew podcast. Alright, tabletop gamers. Go dive into our favorite goblin-run little workshop. The sparks have been flying, and these little maniacs at the Wicked Goblin crew have just relaunched their store. It's packed with killer merch and literally dozens of different designs on almost anything you'd need at your gaming night, from shirts to drinking glasses to dice trays, and even totes to carry it all away at the end of the game night. And now they're rolling up to the table with us at the Hermit's Homebrew podcast. It's like your own personal goblin craftsman dressing up your game night.
It was the only thing I would say about the Rathgrith thing is I felt it was a little bit anticlimactic for her story.
Yeah.
Not that fighting her was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also been there for 2 campaigns with her as well, so.
Yeah. I guess I expect a little bit more from her.
How so?
Is the big thing. Like, she came up out of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
I think she cast like 1 or 2 spells and then TP'd up onto the thing.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, she had like half a turn.
Well, to be fair, I mean, she got crit paladin smited.
Right, yeah. I mean,
And
you hit her with
she
the red
had-
chip and sucked her
And
thing
then
out of her.
She got 400 HP. So she got this spark divorce from her. That took half the HP away.
Yeah, that bloodied her.
Instantly bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got smited.
Yeah, and then I did a smite afterwards, and then Rama opened the prison and let out Krimgash.
No, she didn't let out Krimgash. That was the big reveal, and that even shocked me.
So I knew this was coming.
And
the whole time.
That shocked me because I didn't have him even printed out. She let Xingxi out of the prison at the beginning.
Xingxi. Sorry, Xingxi. Yeah, she let Xingxi out. Yeah. And
so I'd known that was coming for a few days. Her and I had talked, and she was like, "So Kyle's like dead," and I was like, "Yeah, Kyle's dead. Like we don't have time to bring him back. Like we got to move on." And she was like, "So I've been thinking about letting Xingxi out," and I'm like, "That would be fantastic."
That's
why I asked you.
You did it at the perfect point to where he can't argue.
Right, and that was her thing. She didn't want him to have any kind of conversation with him. Nothing. That's why that one day I asked you if you had a monologue planned. Because she was going to cast it in the middle of the monologue.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those things where she wanted it to be a situation where we all knew that Xingxi hated the Overseer. Everything that he was doing was to gain enough power to kill the Overseer and bring Tessmagosa back.
That and avenge his love of his life.
Who was
Talianne, this noble from the Draconic Nation of Thalom, the only woman that he, like, as Nick. Like, Nick is not a big romance player, and you know Nick's personality.
Yeah.
This is the NPC that he attached to.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. That's cool.
It was,
and then I took her away. Just to fuel that final battle that we unfortunately did not get to.
Didn't get a chance to,
So,
dang.
She was like, what do I do? Because she can only bring, she's like, do I let him out, like, during the fight? Do I let him out beforehand? Or should I just wait till we're in front and then just do it? And I was like, honestly, I think just waiting till you're in front of the dude and then do it. You don't have to talk to Xingxi at that point. He's going to walk out and be like, it's about time.
It's the Overseer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's all he cares about.
Yeah, we're doing this.
I actually asked Nick afterwards. After everything was said and done.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Nick. I was like, what would Xingxi do now that the Overseer's dead? Would he go good again?
Yeah.
Would he turn into a hero? Do you want to know what he told me?
What?
Yeah, I am.
Because he never talked to me or asked me any questions. I figured after I knew you'd contact him, I figured he would have tried to contact me, but...
I said, would Xingxi go good after the BBEG dies? And then I just kind of sent him the 2.
Yeah.
Thing. He actually got back to me like the next day.
Yeah.
He says, that's a good question, but I think that he believes himself neither good nor bad. There's only power in service to Tessmagosa, and anything taken to aid in that service is simply duty.
Huh.
Which is which for the entirety of this campaign, since she got put in that demiplane, what I've been saying, because Vicky's talked to me, you've talked to me, I'm like, and she wanted to turn him good. I'm like, he already thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he looks at himself as a hero. He is a hero of Tessmagosa. He is her scion. Like,
he is the Vlad the Impaler. He is the hero of his people, but he is to be feared by all.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, his whole duty is to Tessmagosa.
Okay.
Now that he avenged Talianne and that guy's dead, All he
Now,
cares about is bringing Tessmagosa
now he's
back.
going to go on his kung fu journey and go get his sword back.
Go get a sword and then try to bring Tessmagosa back into the world. Vicky was like, do you think he would try to like make all of his Dragonborn like follow him again? And I was like, I don't think you would care.
In all honesty, if I'm playing him like I wanted and it's basically Nick on steroids, he'd wave it off and like they will eventually follow me again anyways.
Right. As soon as I go,
Yeah, when Tessmagosa comes back, they'll
Yeah.
all come flooding
as soon as
back,
I
yeah.
reclaim my blade, and they'll understand who the strongest is again. Right? It isn't, but I think that thing she understands his people.
Mhm.
He understands that they are honor bound
Yeah.
to serve the goddess of heroes now.
Yeah, because
Unless she releases them.
I really do believe. Well, he is the Archon the Cruel of our setting.
Yeah.
So, and Archon the Cruel is a lawful evil being.
Yeah.
He does keep his word if he gives his word.
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought she pulled him out at the right time.
No, yeah, she did great. Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's when I'm just like, hold on, Google Docs, print. Brent, hand me the printer because I flipped the table around
Yeah.
on the back.
Here you go.
Yeah, so I had known that she was being let out for
Okay.
probably, I don't know, about a week-ish.
It was a good twist I didn't expect.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
There's a few things as a player. You should generally always talk to your DM,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to do something cool. This is what I want to do. But there are also fun things like that you can keep from your DM that aren't really going to change a whole lot, except put one more person in the action economy, right?
Yeah.
And now you have to role play Zing
And
Shield.
you guys knew I had him statted out, so it wasn't a big...
We'd fought him once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we already
I
fought him,
assumed
yeah.
he could just grab the stats from there and throw them in.
Yeah, exactly.
So, plus we lost a frontline fighter,
Mhm.
and Zingshi is
It was...
the frontline
Yeah.
fighter that you could ever want.
I mean, he went down once even in this fight. He went unconscious one of the times.
he
did.
Yeah, he did. He got knocked.
But it was the right move by her because he saved this fight.
He did.
He fucked Rathgrith up pretty
He
good.
did.
He
And I was kind of mad
He got
about it.
He got the killing blow on Rathgrith.
He got hand of
Azazelder.
hand
Turned
of
her
Azazel and then
Bones into putty.
Mhm.
bones into play, which is just a hand of Vecna ability. But
Yeah.
I'm like, let's keep that.
Yeah, of course. Zingshi's gonna.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't the first time that he's messed her up.
But like,
he's ripped her arm
fast
off.
forward to like 3/4 through this fight, it got nasty.
It got
we had
real
forgotten the
nasty.
fear effect with Toy Bar.
Yeah, again, we forgot Toy Bar's fear effect, so all the little dudes that spawned.
Everybody's going down, and that's when Zingshi just steps up, starts knocking all these bugs out because these bugs are coming out every round.
Him and his brother were bug mashers.
And then he action surged and just basically took out half the battlefield of these things, and then
Yeah.
started going through.
Yeah, his brother, I should have just, if I was playing his brother correctly, I would have just had his brother crushing bugs the whole time. Because he's immune, he's psychic immune.
Yeah, he's
so
immune to
all
psychic
of their
damage, yeah.
their death throws did 0 damage to him. So he just run around.
And that's all they were doing
Stomping.
was
Yeah.
throwing force things instead of actually hitting. They're
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good fight. The Overseer fight was
That was really good.
it was good. The only thing I would say from a tactic standpoint was I was surprised that you moved the Beholders and him forward. When I saw the setup and the Beholders were up on the
Oh, you were like,
sides,
well, they're going to stay back there.
I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so the gimmick in my brain, I went, the gimmick of the fight is every round these stupid little things are going to be pouring out of the walls to try to slow us down. The Beholders and the Overseer are just going to be shooting rays at us while we wade through the bullshit.
Pretty much like a tower defense.
Yeah, and we're just, gonna crush forward and try to make it through this.
Or even worse, it was like a D-Day invasion.
Yeah.
It was a flub up on that tactic, and the only sad thing, and the reason why I was looking forward to this fight so much is because the Beholder's anti-magic eye, which shut down Marik's antimantium armor for I could land one crit
Yeah.
since he's had. on
We did a
him.
pretty good job of dealing with the anti-magic
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the bugs were the biggest issue. Because there would be so many of them that when they were popping on people, they were dealing, 40 damage
Yeah, they were doing huge amounts of damage.
every
yeah.
time they died. And
They're all minions from 4E, which means they had
Yeah.
1 HP, and they do a pop, and then they pop the other ones and it'd rip across
Yeah.
the thing. And that was the gimmick of them.
That was fun. Those were cool monsters. I did like those. I'm glad that you didn't play the Beholders like I thought you were going to. We would have been here till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, is combat takes so long in
Yeah.
D&D. And I would say that because our combat ran so long, I felt as a party, we didn't get to like sit and enjoy. Hey, the campaign's over. We won. You know,
Yeah.
it was like...
We played till 12:30.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 12:30. And so we beat it, and then, you know, you went to the kitchen or to the bathroom or something, was like, all right, think about what your people would do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that should be another session. But
It
I
should.
understood what we were doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I still think that it would be cool to do that session. Because it was kind of a, hey, we're here. I know it's, 12:30. What would
Yeah.
everybody do? Okay, you're done. Okay, and we all just rolled out. Like,
Mhm.
it didn't feel like we had accomplished this great thing. And I felt a little confused, I guess, by that
Yeah.
feeling. But I also knew why that was. And it was just because it was so late. And we were like, oh my God, we've been in this battle for 3 hours.
Mhm.
Like, we all just want to go home and go to bed. And I think I had to work the next day, which I didn't tell you about on purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
want
okay.
I didn't want him to feel rushed
I got you.
for the final fight. So I didn't tell him that I was working the next day, because I felt like you would have adjusted some stuff and like
Mhm.
tried
I
to
think
make
on the
sure.
brain fight and you were working both days after I'd found out.
I could be. I generally work Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah.
But that was it, right? Like, if from a tactical perspective, if I'm looking at that fight, immediately when I saw that fight, I was like, these beholders are just going to be sitting up there shooting eye beams at us every round.
And they were doing that
And-
most of the time.
They were.
But it was cool, I made another mistake with Toy Bar during that fight. When I teleported up onto the high ledge. Me as a player, I looked at that and I'm like, I'm going to teleport up here.
Oh, okay.
But I'm also the only one that's going to be up there.
Oh,
In front of a beholder that's also up there. He might be 80 feet that way.
but now you are like prime line of
But
sight.
now I'm the only one
Yeah.
up there. And then I'm looking over and I'm like,
I'm in danger.
everything gets to go before everybody else gets to go. So I guess I'm just going to take a lot of damage.
I guess I'm just. I guess, fine. I guess I'll just die.
And that was another thing again. We forgot that I was supposed to be...
The fear roar.
The minions should have at least ran from me in the opposite directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beholders and the boss were never going to.
Yeah.
But I did take a lot of damage from those
You
minions as
did.
Toy Bar.
You did.
And if
And
we would have thought
when
about
we
it,
realized that, I retconned it that you weren't dead. You were just like unconscious.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you just like put me at 0. But I would have died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was handing in my
Handing in your character sheet.
my
Dead.
character sheet
Yeah.
died, yeah. Because I had died without a chance to make a death save.
Mm-hmm.
Which is almost what happened in the Elder Braid fight.
Yeah.
I almost died without a chance to make a death save. And then Vicky was basically stunned through that whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually seemed very annoyed by it.
I'm of two minds.
Like, as a player,
Oh,
she
yeah.
seemed annoyed by the fact that she wasn't
It-
able to do anything.
And she was not rolling good at all against any saves. That was the other problem.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. But
That's why you had me roll for the minions.
yeah.
Because you were rolling like crap. He's like,
But
wait,
it
wait,
is.
wait, wait,
I'm
wait,
of two minds of that because one, it was good tactical sense.
Sure.
To shut down
But you also
magic casters. On the other hand, it also kind of sucks when you take away player agency.
Yeah.
When players can't do anything,
Yeah.
then it's like,
Well, and for her, it was for multiple turns.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't know that it was a petrifying ray that
Yeah.
had hit her. So we were just like, oh, well, she'll make her save.
She'll
Go
be
next
stunned.
turn.
Yeah, next. Yeah.
But
oh, no.
being paralyzed and incapacitated at the same time,
is a deadly combo.
the rules
Yeah.
are so hardcore on that, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm doing to you guys.
Yeah, she got
As
hit
much
by
as
a
possible
petrifying
in my
ray and a
campaign.
paralyzing ray.
At the same time. Yeah.
So she
and
turned
if
into-
she would have rolled it one way, she automatically failed the other one. I'm like, you know what? Roll it this way. in
Roll it the
favor
other
of
way. Yeah.
She still failed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Exactly. So
which was
it's
unfortunate, but it worked out in the end.
yeah.
For you, Chase, you mentioned a couple episodes of wanting to see Marik in this final fight and see how his story ended.
Yes.
And being like brutally honest here, did it live up to what you were hoping to see, or maybe not what you were not expecting? Because Marik, at the very end of the fight, Overseer gets over to him. He had basically a breath weapon of a tadpole breath. Hits Xingshi and Marik, and Xingshi succeeds, of course, because it's a con save. Unfortunately,
Xingshi is con all the way.
Unfortunately, Marik fails and gets tadpoled.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the following 2 rounds later, he and there's a whole list of other things. I'm like, you're not gone, you're not dead. There's a whole thing.
There's a whole slew of stuff. Yeah.
That happens with being tadpoled. That's listed right here. So you're not like instantly just hand me your character sheet. You're now mine.
Yeah.
You're not dominated. But then it's also stuck inside of him without a wish spell taking it out. Then you get disintegrated 2 rounds later.
Yeah, it took a freaking overseer eye ray disintegration. Yeah.
It was funny.
So even then, you're living on borrowed time because you would have eventually turned into something.
Mm-hmm.
But
A god would have just wished it out of him. He's got a goddess at his own party. He'd be like, hey, wish it up.
Get this thing out of me.
Once her spark awakens, of course.
Yeah,
it was, well...
Dalmanjar would have pulled it out for you.
maybe. Yeah.
He didn't really know who Marik was too much.
Yeah. Maybe. It's like, I'm not going to bring the fire god back. Are you serious? That's what happened to the old one.
But we get to the end of the fight, and we'll just touch on the Marik part here. He's dead, and you break out the monkey paw.
Yeah.
Yeah. The monkey's paw. Yeah, I wished him back. I guess to answer your question, the Rathgrith thing, I believe their whole Rathgrith thing to me was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect her to show up in the fight.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I do wish she would have gotten to do more, I will admit. But she did get just...
Well, the second... to be fair, I had in my mind that if Rathgrith showed up, Marik was going to shut her down. Marik was going to take her
exactly
out
what he did.
as soon as possible.
Oh, sure.
So...
for me, it was I think I would have liked to see a situation where maybe Rathgrith was fighting with us.
Yeah.
Instead. And that would have been an interesting concept because then during the fight, you would have had to choose.
Yeah.
Do I do this now? In the middle of the fight, do I betray Rathgrith and take that spark?
Well, it wouldn't really be a betrayal.
I mean, if she's fighting...
on your side.
She hasn't taken...
Or...
she hasn't even taken the oaths
do
of
I wait till
loyalty
after
or...
we've defeated the Overseer to ensure that maybe we needed her assistance or something, and then somehow do it, right? I always felt that he needed a spot to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But from a storytelling standpoint, I think that it would have been... maybe in hindsight, looking back, it might have been cool for you to be given the opportunity to betray her during the fight, or after the fight is over, if she shows up because they won the battle.
Yeah.
And then that's when you attack. Like,
then
when she shows up and everyone's like, kind of winding down. Now her guard's down.
Everyone's coming off the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, her guard's down, and you just whip that thing out and wow, right into her and pull it out. Like I think those ideas would have been very cool. I just don't know if it would have fit your character. Being a conquest paladin, it makes more sense for you to go after her, like confrontationally, I guess is what I would say. So I guess it made sense in one way. I felt like there was a better way to end her story.
Yeah.
Than
The
just
outcome...
one turn, stab, smited, Xingshi turned you into a puddle, and off we go.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like, it was fine, though. I mean, technically what took her out was 2 legendary artifacts. It took 2 legendary artifacts to bring her down, right? Ripping the thing out of her, Hand of Azazel turning her into a putty.
Yeah, it's true. It took 2 legend. Yeah, you're right. It was...
I will say there's echoes in history, even though, not to justify an anticlimactic thing where, like, Mary Queen of Scots.
Sure.
Yeah.
She dies in a jail after everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, that's how the story ends?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. In my mind, I think I had it differently.
Yeah.
I was not expecting you to bring her back as an enemy.
Yeah.
During that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought whatever happened with Rathgrith was going to take place after the fight.
Hey, it's good. It was going to be its own set piece.
And part of me was thinking about that, but I knew if we had done that and did a wrap-up session, it probably would have been a month to a month and a half
Yeah.
after the finale.
Yeah, my sister's getting married
Oh,
next weekend. I'm supposed to have surgery in 2 weeks.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Are you going through with the surgery?
Probably not. I guess the side tangent, long story short,
Mm.
I had a herniated disc in my back. As disc excursion or whatever was putting tons of pain and pressure. The only reason we were looking at surgery is because of all the pain that it was causing me. And now that I'm no longer in any pain, maybe once or twice throughout a few days, I might feel
Tightness.
yeah, maybe like
And
an
that's
ache or
what
something.
that's what I deal with. Is
Yeah.
I like, what was it last week? It's been a year, and I basically had to go lay down in bed after work and just put an ice pack on it, and I was okay the next day.
Yeah. And I don't even have those issues. Like, it might just ache for a few seconds, be like, oh, okay. All right, and then I'm done. So since there's no pain or anything, I'm not prevented from moving in any way, shape, or form, and there's no reason to have the surgery.
Okay.
So odds are I'm going to be calling them in the next few days and being like, yeah, I'm doing this.
If Marik could have done one thing differently right before the fight, in hindsight, is there anything he would have done differently?
One thing that I that comes to mind, but it's super minor because it really didn't matter in the long run, is I brought up a couple of times the idea of Marik getting the magical face tattoo from the Dragonborn. That it's with the purple ink or whatever, it gives resistance to psychic energy, to psychic
Sure.
damage. But in the long run, for some reason I don't really think that would have made that much difference, honestly.
How much damage did you take from the little spiders?
I maybe got hit like probably 2 or 3 times, if that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal.
You got
and
pretty maimed in that Elder Brain fight. Like, you had 3 lingering injuries, and Matt. Yeah. Oh, and I guess rewind a little bit back to that Elder Brain fight. That was very epic when your hand got maimed, so you dropped the shield, used your good hand, and then I think by weight wise you couldn't have, but I don't care. It was rule of cool. You catapulted the sword at the Tom Bruce monster.
Yeah, because you needed that extra, like, 2
Yeah.
points of damage. And I'm like, you got catapult, right? Just drop that sword. I watched your little Mycondra dude do it in the last campaign. That's his whole basis of attack, was he would drop a dagger and catapult. People.
Yeah, so yeah, Marik had a maimed eye, a maimed hand, and an internal injury at the end. Yeah. Yeah, he was
and leg.
he was screwed.
I think not an eye, a leg, actually. It was a hand, leg.
Oh, okay.
In hindsight, now knowing, because you took the sword, like, Gilvical got Tove to give you the sword and all that sort of stuff. In hindsight, now looking at that stat block, would have you taken that sword on?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I would have taken that thing on.
Book?
It's up on the shelf.
I would have taken that thing so dang fast, because all we knew is that
I think it's up there.
all that we like.
If not, it's actually behind the red tote lid.
Yeah, because all we really knew, like quote unquote knew, was that it had the ability to sever the spark from Rathgrith, and that it visually turned you into a mind flayer.
Right.
There ain't no way I'm carrying that thing.
But when you pulled it up,
And you gave me the page of stats for this thing, I was like, holy.
And I added in one thing just because it was Gilvical.
The Sword of Zariel goes all the way down to here.
Yeah, it was.
And that was half the text. But I edited half of it out.
Yeah, you got a new character.
Yeah,
And you technically did too, because you became
lawful neutral.
Yeah.
And you don't even remember your past.
Well, that was because of the monkey's paw, which
That was the monkey's paw. Thanks, Chase. Or
Yeah.
thanks.
I mean, I could have
Toy bar.
just left you dead.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, the Marik's alignment went from lawful evil to lawful neutral.
Yes.
Yeah, he gained wings. He had all sorts of junk. Yeah, true sight. All of the stuff from the book. But then the added one was the hidden enchantment of what's his face? Gilvical. And yeah, it was
Does it make him like him?
and it was the and it was to
That's the best
sever-
one.
It was a misfire on the spark. If he rolled a D10, if he rolled a 1 on the D10, the spark just gets destroyed.
There was a 10% chance the spark
would
was going to
leave.
get destroyed.
And instead of going into him.
Yeah.
And I never directly put in the stat block, the spark goes to you, even though it does.
Yeah. And so when I did the attack and it hit and all that fun stuff, Nate had me roll a D10, and it's like, if it comes
Yeah.
up a 1, this spark is destroyed.
And
I'm
there's
like, no one.
you
my
have
luck.
no modifiers though.
Yep,
with the
it's
white
just a
with the
straight
chip
roll.
or
Straight
whatever.
D10.
Yeah, no re-rolls, no nothing. It's a straight D10, and it is what it is.
And you rolled the 6 or
I
7.
rolled a 6 or a 7, yeah. And so I was just like, man, knowing my luck doesn't when I'd roll that 1.
But getting back, because we got on a side tangent.
Yeah.
With the monkey paw.
Yeah,
You wished him back to life,
Yes.
and it basically changed his end story.
A little bit. I mean, he's still the god of
Fire.
fire. He
But
just
you-
doesn't remember
Yeah, you wish
why
for.
or how
Can
he
you?
got there.
You how did it exactly? You wished for Captain Marik Thatcher to.
be
Resurrected.
be returned to life or something like
Yeah,
that.
just to be like resurrected or something. However I word it.
Yeah, so
Right
Marik.
there.
So
I
Marik.
wanted you to appear right there.
Yeah, so Marik came back in his tiefling form, but didn't remember anything.
He came back as Captain Marik Thatcher, basically session 1
Yeah.
Marik
Yeah.
memory, with like fragments here, like Rama fragments here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like,
Kind of surprised me. I thought you were gonna send him back to right before he died in the.
oh, to where, yeah, right before
You
Surtur had to.
became the tiefling, right?
Yeah.
You remember everything up to this point. Everything after that point, you don't remember at all.
Yeah. So it was I was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. I mean, because Monkey's Paw, it has to have some sort of negative backfire. Like, it has to have something bad happen.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought, yeah, going with how you
Now-
worded the wish, yeah.
I worded it like that on purpose, right? Because I have to try to think about how Toy Bar is going to word it, and he's not going to call you the Sword of Onslaught.
No, you've been
Right.
calling him the captain
I've been
or
calling him
captain
captain
the whole
since I
dang
met.
campaign. Yeah,
Like Rama, for instance.
detective.
He calls her detective because she was an investigator for the God of Justice
So
when he met her.
we talked about in previous episodes about how you kind of wanted to become the Vulcan, the Forge
Yeah.
of the planet. And that's exactly what you become.
Mhm.
In your end story, you become this person. I showed you the log entry, which I have to edit a little bit more, and I'll show you the finalized version.
Cool.
But there's 2 big things with that big change. And there's one thing, just because it was late at night and we forgot, but I'm going to hold it to it.
Okay.
You forgot about Bridget's soul. And there's no reason why Marik would even remember making that deal
What
Okay.
was the deal?
with
That
Surtur.
Surtur
Save
couldn't
the
bring his
daughter's
daughter
soul.
back because her soul was taken by the overseer.
Yeah.
So that's why Surtur
Oh.
couldn't bring her back.
Fair. You
What-
could probably bring her back as a god now, though.
Yeah,
If-
but
if
if,
you
if I remembered,
If
And why would he care?
or if I cared.
well, even if you don't care, right? Like if someone came and was like, "Hey, you made this deal,"
Mm-hmm.
whether you remember it or not, this deal was made. Would you
Well,
follow
that was
through with it?
and that was what led into the end story.
Well,
Is
I died, so
this
that
new
deal's-
Marik don't remember making this deal with Surtur? How does he know he held it? So he goes on to rule Muspelheim by himself.
Yeah.
Mm. And now the war continues.
Yeah.
The eternal war continues.
Mhm.
Giants versus.
Element.
Or
versus
elementals, yeah, elementals, yeah.
Interesting. It's an interesting way to keep the war going.
Yeah.
Because it's called the eternal war for a reason.
For a reason, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Surtur has some specific words for you.
But that is the twist. It is unfortunate from a character standpoint, and it's bittersweet and sad that Marik don't remember all this stuff that he did.
Yeah, it's like all of this crazy stuff that that happened.
For you, it's satisfying a bit, and you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with how it turned out because it makes sense story wise and action wise. It makes sense. But yeah, for the character, it's just like there's a lot of time just gone. Yeah,
And
Don't
you
remember
got
any-
to do your
Are you
goal.
still tiefling?
Yes.
You got to do your goal. It's just not in the way you expected,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Marik.
which is very on brand me.
Yeah, Marik saved his mom, and the city got returned,
And now you're the god of fire.
and now he's got a fire. Okay, cool. Yeah, all boxes have been checked. Just
Have you
not
chosen your
in.
divine name?
It has been chosen.
Yeah, I chose it. I have to look at the guide or whatever, and then I ask, "Does it sound good?" And
Yeah.
you're okay with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and yeah. It's
I believe Vicky's keeping Rama.
Yeah, that's what I have in the
Goddess
guide.
of Heroes.
Yeah, I asked her, and she's like, "Nah."
I asked her, and she was like, "Why wouldn't I just stay Rama?" And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, no, yeah, totally. Yeah,
You
totally.
could if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was, and it's kind of funny because like as I'm reading the stuff that you wrote, I remember sitting there kind of going, dang, it's like Nate read my mind, you know, on like a lot of the high points, you know. There's like one or two points. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting, okay, but I'm totally cool with it. And so, but it just for a lot of it, it's just
and that's as a DM, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to honor what you wanted.
yeah, absolutely.
And figure out how to get there, not how you expect it.
Yeah, because in how he wrote it down, Surtur's not even free anymore.
He re-imprisons them.
Yeah, Surtur gets re-imprisoned after there's when Marik goes back to Muspelheim over the years, he fights a war against Surtur, and Surtur loses, and Marik imprisons Surtur back in the original forge.
Oh, back in he locks him in his forge.
In the first forge, yeah.
The stakes have never been higher with this final battle, and it was the turning point. It was the capstone of the entire thing. There was things that fell flat. There was things that went beyond expectations. Not everything is always perfect, as we all kind of want with any story.
Yeah.
But we talked about kind of how Marik's story ended, and I want to talk about how like the other three players and the other NPCs at our table held their story ends as well, just because they were just such a staple.
Oh yeah.
At the very end of the fight, Rama got to, after being basically paralyzed, restrained, and she got
the final hit, didn't she?
She did.
She got the final.
She got the final hit on the overseer.
It's the final hits, man.
Well, it's because she deals like 30 to 40 damage
that- and
consistently.
This has been a thing for the whole campaign.
Yeah, she's been
always
killed up.
getting killed.
She's got higher body count than Marik.
She was,
She's a
as
she's a
you were
progress
mentioning
pal.
in the previous episode, she was getting frustrated just because she'd basically been shut down the entire fight. And then in our campaign, for anyone that's been listening to these session recaps, we have the white and the blue chips, which control rolls before or after you make them, and then you cash in the chip kind of.
Yeah.
But there's a red chip as well that basically gave you an auto succeed or a crit, and that's what Marik used to kill Rathgrith.
Yeah.
And this is what she chose to basically go anime alpha omega with her Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, so in our last level up, she is in order domain.
Yes. Peace domain, I thought, or life
Peace
domain.
or order, one of the two. I can't remember.
It was life or peace, but yeah.
It definitely wasn't life.
Okay.
But she took summon, was it spectral weapon or divine?
No, it was
Spiritual
weapon.
Yeah.
There, spiritual weapon. Yes.
So she asked me when we were looking at them, and I kind of told her what I picked for her because she won't look through the 30 options that she gets.
Yeah.
So usually I read through, what her options are, and then I offer her, hey, you can pick two of these. Here's your top 5. I think that are good, right? But with her current level, when I looked through there, everything was rituals, and I knew we had like one fight left. And I'm like, we're not going to do a ritual in the middle of this. Like, let's find something that you could use in combat to help us out.
Yeah, and you'd asked me at work about this particular moment.
Yeah, so she took the summon weapon, but she didn't want it to be a weapon that was like floating around that just like wandered around and hit things. She wanted to know if she could have it be on her. So when she Eldritch Blasts, it also adds its damage to her Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, and I said I was okay with that as long as she still used kind of the bonus action on top of the add the damage, which is still basically using the spiritual weapon mechanically how it is. It's just...
It didn't change anything. It just put it all
into one package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it allowed us to not have another action in the action economy, right? She just did it all at once rather than this takes a turn after your turn, and then you do, whatever you do. She wanted it to be like Eldritch Blast, Super Eldritch Blast. Like Mega Eldritch Blast, it's like an extra 1d8 or whatever. But like, it went around her arm and shot there. So that was a cool idea with her.
It was really interesting use of it.
Yeah, I like that. She had this idea, because we watch a lot of animes.
I can sympathize.
And she had this idea of like this anime action where she was like super god powered up, radiant wings coming out, and she's just like, blink, boo, like this big anime concept.
Yeah, super.
And
yeah.
so I adjusted a little bit to try to help her out with that. So
Yeah.
she used her red chip to blow a super. She did Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely the end of like one of the Dragon Ball Z arcs to where it's like, Goku's like sitting there holding it back, and there's, give me all of your power so I can make this ultimate spirit bomb. He pulls energy from the whole universe to like drop down the spirit bomb and junk, and
so she bonus action did the spiritual
She
weapon.
did the whole thing, yeah.
Cashed in the red chip even beforehand.
She had the spiritual weapon on her anyway.
Oh, yeah,
because she had casted it before she got paralyzed. And it doesn't take concentration. Spiritual weapon doesn't take concentration to hold.
Oh yeah, it's just a timeline.
Oh, she would have casted it, I think, after she got turned to stone and then came back. So, or also would have
sure.
stayed. Yeah.
It doesn't go away when she gets turned to stone.
Yeah, because it drops.
It's not a concentration. It's just there for 10 minutes. There's nothing that drops it. You can't even hit it.
She's stoned. She's inanimate. It drops.
It just would have been around her arm. If she gets turned to stone and her spiritual weapon is out, it would stay there. There's nothing that gets rid of it. It's just,
I would say being turned to stone, it would end.
Because there's no concentration on it. She just like, blink, it's there.
Does it go away if she's dead?
I mean, if by rules is written, I would say no.
Because it's like usually
if you had to hold concentration, absolutely.
Yeah. It wouldn't even be a question.
But if you're saying that the magic that somebody cast goes away when they say die, then that means that it would always go away for everybody. So a mage who has died in the past, all of his wards and stuff that he's cast that are still just kind of around would have to.
Oh, isn't
that's actual rituals?
Yeah, isn't that the point of a lot of the stories though? Is that this ancient mage died
and it got weak,
and their stuff is starting to shut down? So isn't that kind of like
sure? Either way,
Oh, I guess it does not.
Really?
No. If in D&D 5e your spiritual weapon does not drop if you become petrified. Cool. That's shocking.
Okay, cool. We learned something.
But
she still wouldn't have been able to use it anyway.
Yeah, she can't do anything with it because she's not there.
It would have to move in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you cannot command it to move or attack.
Someone would have to move into its sphere to hit him.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, cool. I learned something. Nice.
So when she was turned to stone, she would have been like, and it would have just like been
and
wrapped
you see
around
this
her
like
arm,
spiraling like energy around her arm, just kind of like chilling.
But either way,
no, that's really cool. All right.
Yeah, she got the laser beam through the chest, ended the big boss. The end of her story is easy.
Yeah,
I feel like she just goes on to do god things to,
and that's how she explained it.
Grow her power.
She asked about how a couple of other people, like she told me, that's what she explained. It's like I go on to do what we've already talked about, this ascension.
Yeah,
and my faith. And then she asked how she was more concerned how other people's stories ended, actually, or NPCs even.
Yeah.
Yeah, she asked does Crimgash does he still follow me even after this? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way a dude like Crimgash would just roll out.
No.
Like, I say his honor, but I don't really consider it honor in the Dragonborn world, right? It's kind of the rules of their race.
Yeah. It's their ethos.
Yeah. So I feel like if he would have just rolled out, that he would have been looked down upon by a bunch of other Dragonborns. Like all the other Dragonborns would know him as, I wouldn't say the betrayer, but maybe like
not to the level of a paladin oathbreaker, but
yeah,
it's like you kind of what? Yeah, why would you leave?
Flint still goes on to be her herald.
Yeah, he
goes on and does his own thing. I write it because
he's a bard and can't follow his own word.
He goes on to be a herald for a couple of years, but then he
dips out.
Conveniently forgets to remind people that he has all their money in his portable hole, and then goes and opens up his own tavern.
That's why Marik was smart. Marik spent his share.
Yeah, but Tomar didn't care about the money at that point.
He also, in a twist, because Kyle's body at the end of that Elder Brain fight got put in the portable hole. No one asked for it at the end of that night. We're all very tired at 12:30 at night.
And Marik forgot.
We put it in there to bring back to Dom and Jarl.
And that's exactly what Flint did. He goes, I'll return your grandson's body to you if you basically give me a full blanket pardon for anything I've done so far. And that's what happened.
Oh, I mean, Dom and Jarl wouldn't care. I can't imagine that he did anything that was terrible.
any crimes, if he's still wanted by Odin, that's now pardoned. If he's wronged anyone else or he's wanted in any countries, that's now pardoned.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
He pretty much like holds up a golden piece of paper that's glowing and just
Yeah.
says, "I'm cool now."
Odin
and-
still doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Now, that does not mean that he's not going to get in trouble in the future,
Yeah,
and
it's
that does not
all-
excuse it, but he
It ex-
starts out with the blanks.
Yeah, it expunges all past transgressions. Future ones, that's on you, dude.
Which, in a way, with the way his... For personal reasons, I will not get into on air of the reason why he got thrown into that prison just
Sure.
to kick him off the campaign, unfortunately, because it ended that way. That was me as a DM saying sorry to the character for
Yeah.
throwing you in a prison.
No,
Not sorry.
honestly, Flint was a fantastic NPC throughout the campaign.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He
Out,
was a
out of
good
all
addition.
the NPCs, I think him and Gilvickle, were the two that stood out the most.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Gilvickle still hangs around a bit, and then he goes and handles the Void Riders and organizes the thing because Akroka only live up to be 30 years, and I've talked to
I forgot they
Brent.
had short lifespans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Brent talked. This is between this and his next campaign. It will be 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So Gilfickle is now dead.
Yeah, he goes and retires.
He does not have immortal bones anymore.
Tove, though, I honestly have to give Tove as a player credit because once again, like the first campaign she played with me, she did the librarian thing, and that was a total like left field thing. I
Yeah,
was
she
not
just dipped out on her own daughter.
yeah, but
Thanks,
she
Yvette.
became became the librarian.
She
which
became
was
the librarian, yeah.
nothing that she ever talked to me about.
She
Well,
talked to me about it, but I was like, yeah, talk to Nate.
I need to get her phone number if I DM again, and it's like, here, this is my number. What's your number so I can contact you about your character? Because you are not online any other way.
Yeah, she has zero digital footprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's no Facebook, no.
She has like a YouTube for private watching.
No, she uses mine,
Oh,
and it's fine.
when we were going into this fight and she's looking at the grove, I think she was the only one that got affected by the description because she knew as a druid what these micondroids did.
Yeah,
Or what they were.
what they were.
And
yeah.
she's the only
Yeah.
one that's actually... I don't know if she's actually asking this in character, out of character. She's like, this place was once beautiful, wasn't it? I'm like, this was a
Yeah.
verdant
Both.
grove.
Honestly, both. No, and out
And
of
you could
character.
tell it somehow affected her a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to the point to where after this battle, she used her red ship to use the seed to turn this grove into a demi-plane
Mm-hmm.
and give these micondroids a verdant haven that can no longer be touched by any sort of aberration.
Yeah.
And then she goes,
Hopefully.
yeah. Well, that's all part of the red ship, and that's what she wanted. And if I ever touch it again, I might, or if any other dungeon master wants to forego that, it's all there.
That's that's all. Yeah.
There's a story to break in if you want to. Down
Yeah,
the road.
but
If
it's
you, as
gonna-
a DM if you
it-
want to make.
but
that.
But it's
there's-
more than just I open a portal to invade
Yeah.
because there's a protection.
There's
there.
now a
Yeah.
ward there.
Yeah.
And then she asked, do they like repopulate and take it on? I'm like, oh yeah, they quickly repopulate because they are mushrooms.
They're mushroom people.
They are fungi, and they quickly
They're ready to go.
stool in the previous campaign. He was like, somebody asked, "Are you only challenged?" Oh no, I'm like 1 of 500.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
In just my
It's
birthing
still
cycle.
alive.
Yeah, and he's actually in our campaign guy. He's
Ah.
King Stooland.
Oh, okay. King of the Mycondroids.
Yes,
Awesome.
I think they have a very short lifestyle.
I think it's only like
They have a
Lifespan.
very short lifespan.
I think it's only like 10, 15 years, if that.
But I assume
I think.
I mean,
after like 80 years, he's
Stool's been around for a long time. So.
now.
But then again, like they said that the longest, or like in real life, that the oldest life form on the planet is a colony of mushrooms or something. Is
Oh, really?
a fungal colony. Yeah,
That
and
would
it's like
surprise me.
hundreds of years old.
During that last fight
yeah,
that I almost did. Was it you that I asked? What's the most powerful character that Toy Bar knows that's not a god?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if I thought that we were actually going to lose that fight, and Toy Bar was still up, I was casting Gate to bring Surtur in.
Yeah, because he asked me like, "What's the most strongest non-god
Yeah.
character?" I'm like, "Baba Yaga." But
Would have also been very strong,
yeah,
but she's probably someone who
Would have been like Gate. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's an archfey in our setting. So
Yeah.
So the
she would
way-
have shut Gate down.
The
like,
way the gate is worded is that it says that
it's a 9th level spell, so they just
deities in their realm can prevent gate from opening in their realm.
Yeah.
So I was like, Surtur's not a deity. When you said Surtur, I was like,
Yeah, he's not a god anymore.
and we already know he's strong enough to cast Wish. He's done it already.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, if things go bad. And I rolled my little fate dice, and I was like, oh yeah, if things go bad, and I'm still up.
and they were
we're gonna
going
start
bad
it.
at the end of that.
They were
fight.
going bad.
Yeah. They were, I don't know.
One or two dice rolls
It was-
gone the different direction, we'd be having a different conversation.
I would
right
say
now.
the Elder Brain was a scarier fight, honestly. Just because the fact that we smashed Rathgrith down
Yeah.
like so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And we were utilizing, all the resources because there was no more resources to hold on to.
There's no
So,
reason to hold on to him. Yeah.
I thought the Elder Brain fight was more scary, but that's because, like you said, we were trying to hold on to resources, I think.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, Surtur coming through that gate would have been crazy to me.
That would have been funny.
And it would have been a fantastic thing because it would have been the second time I've summoned Surtur as Toybar
What was the first?
when I released him from his.
Oh, from the
So
yeah.
I've been like, oh, you're coming out now. He's like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, hey, you're
It's
gonna
like,
come
oh,
out
it's
with
you again.
Before we get on to Toy Bar story, though, I do want to finish Toes. She basically goes off to be a spirit in the Yggdrasil and
Yeah.
hangs out with Ratatosk now.
Oh, nice.
And teases Nighthog and whatever else because she's a primegenial trickster is the official wording on her epic path. So
Oh, cool.
it makes sense that she'd hang out with another trickster, which is Ratatosk.
Yeah, that's what I figured would happen there.
Yeah, giant squirrel that runs around 9.5.
Did she create the 10th realm with that seed?
Well, you said it was the...
Mycondroid realm?
I'm debating.
In the Marvel
I-
universe, there are now 10 realms.
Oh, okay.
In the comic universe, there are 10 realms.
When I get done making the campaign guide, we'll see. It's definitely a very, very large demi-plane.
Mushroom.
Yeah,
Mushroom
I would say
demi-plane?
instead of
I
making
said-
it a full realm, make it like a half realm. Like a little like...
Yeah,
oh,
I
shit.
did describe to her.
just have
She
it-
made another branch of the Yggdrasil.
Yeah. It's a baby realm.
And that was the exact wording, I think, was I made it another branch of the Yggdrasil.
Yeah. There you go.
What?
And she's happy with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She thinks it's hilarious that the duck became an archdruid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like she
And then
loves
she
that,
awakened her rabbit.
Yeah, she awakened Princess. Yep.
She took my one hand offhanded comment that one session of like, you should just awaken the rabbit.
Yep. She's like, I can.
But she did not take Chase's recommendation of awakening Slobberchops.
No. What'd she tell me? He's got enough opinion and personality as it is.
Yeah.
We shouldn't give him a voice.
She was worried he'd be basically go evil.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
Probably turn into, was it Salem Saberhagen from Salem the Teenage Witch?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So yeah, she's like, no, I'll awaken the rabbit. That's good enough.
Going to Toy Bar now as the last person. We forgot the fear thing. He did go down, almost died.
I did hand
Almost.
in my sheet.
Yeah.
And with Grimgashes too, even though he was still awake. I'm like, hold on, you're still running Grimgash. I'm not.
Yeah. You're still doing
correct,
Grimgash,
still,
yeah.
I had so many pages at that point. I was just like, I'm going to hand the book over to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Toy Bar's story, how it finally ended?
So I had a few ideas with Toy Bar's ending.
Yeah.
If he was alive, one of them was what I did.
Yeah.
He just goes back to Odin
Which I don't know how
to try to
long
learn
that
magic.
would have lasted just
Mm.
because he now has the quirk. I keep whatever I find.
Oh.
Yeah, but that could also probably be adjusted.
Yeah.
Whatever. Odin, he goes back to learn from Odin. The other idea I had was going to have actually Toy Bar just leave,
Yeah.
right? Because the Vaffy
Which could happen after. even.
backstory says that he will. No matter what I do, eventually I will leave this reality.
Because
to
you'll
create
get bored of this reality.
Right. And I just couldn't think of anyone better than Odin. Like, looking back on my story, everyone that I've met, I've met Baba Yaga, like, I've met all these people. But Odin in this setting is the quintessential god of magic, right? All magic flows.
It
Because
comes.
Odin allows
I
it.
was thinking after the session that it comes full circle, considering that you used your red chip to become part of a mages guild,
Yeah.
and that kind of flustered. And then at level 20, you basically go become a chosen of Odin and learn from him.
Yeah.
And then just like give the big middle finger to this magic school that like shows you not to give me those robes.
I can just show up anytime
Yeah,
to go
poof.
talk to the Hidozi,
Oh, God.
and then just flash my symbol of Odin at her and be like, "Sup?"
And then name drop Odin.
Right. And
And-
Baba Yaga.
Oh, you're name dropping her already, and then she wasn't believing. It's like, well, now I'm a chosen of Odin.
That's right. She believes us at the end. It was fitting. It was fitting enough for Toy Bar. Toy Bar really cares about just learning as much magic spells as it can. So, it turned into a situation where I couldn't think of anyone better to learn magic from than the guy who should probably know
all the magic,
spells.
yeah.
Or at least know of all the spells, right?
Well, he at least knows all the arcane ones for sure. He might not know nature magic because that's Freya's realm,
Sure.
and he might know some Vaffy magic, but it's its own particular.
I
brand of
assume all the Vaffy magic that he knows is in that book.
Yeah.
In my brain, I just dubbed it, the Book of Vaffy Magic.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that I was like, Toy Bar wants to go see what that is. Because the spell that he gave me would have killed me.
Oh, yeah, it did like a bunch of backlash damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you finally chose the Vaffy's Gaze, which is the God's Gaze of 3rd edition, which does an ungodly amount of d6 damage.
It would have killed the
automatically.
boss,
Yeah.
but it would have killed me too.
Yeah.
Right. That's the idea. It's not a thing that I think Toy Bar would have done, but it was cool to have the option sitting there. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to cast any of the big 10th level spells.
Yeah.
I'm also a little disappointed that I never forced a surge on somebody else.
Oh.
Because I had that spell too. That was my journal spell creation that I created. the
Oh,
spell.
yeah.
I never did that. And there's a big reason for it, is because I rolled so well on that table during this campaign. And I was scared.
You actually did pretty good, yeah.
I was scared that I was going to roll very well for like one of them. And like, what if they're, I don't know,
What happens
immunity to humanoids? Like we're fucked. Like, I don't know. What do I do at that point?
Yeah.
Or fear. You are now every humanoid has fear around you.
Speaking of fear, unfortunately, it was a bit anticlimactic with Apu because he never got released. But when you did,
Yeah.
we remembered the fear aurora just for the sake of it, and they went running into the Far Realm portal that was in that final battle because he
Yeah.
saw you and just ran.
Yeah. He saw me and
YOLO! Huh!
got fear just flooded over him.
I feel the Xingshi bomb was probably way more effective than the Apu.
Xingshi allowed for more role play opportunity, whereas Apu was just kind of mindless, right? He would have just been like, "That's an aberration." You run over there and smashed on it.
Yeah.
But it would have left open a interesting enemy,
And it still does.
because he's in the far realm now, just consuming
He's
aberrations.
just
I
eating
assume.
everything you can see.
And it's only a matter of time before he comes back.
Into this maybe.
If he comes back, another overseer can show up and just, I don't like this thing. Kill it.
And then he eats it.
That's true, right? Because regardless, his entire being is.
Until he gains some
Consume.
ability that modifies that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. That is like, hey, don't eat me.
Or I'm no longer care about aberrations. I want to kill or eat everything, or I now become
Sure.
hunger.
Yeah.
Oh no, he becomes an abyssal tyrant, or what is it?
He becomes
One of
Galactus.
the seven deadly sins of hunger.
He becomes our version of Galactus,
Oh, there we go.
the eater of worlds.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing in the far realm, eating far realm worlds.
Ooh.
Jeez, eating whole planets.
In hindsight, is there anything you would have done different with Toy Bar? Other than maybe, what you just mentioned.
I don't think so. I had a lot of fun playing Toy Bar. He was the loose comedic relief of the party. And I say loose because he wasn't like making jokes, like,
True.
he wasn't trying to be the comedic relief. He was just kind of, he's a more lighthearted character than the captain was, right? Or he was basically your complete opposite in personality.
That's true. Yeah.
And I felt like he connected very well with Flint, obviously,
Oh yeah.
because him and Flint had like
And
the same
Gilvickle.
personality. And Gilvickle, right? He really
Even
liked
without the
Gilvickle.
Forced Wish.
Even without the sword that made him like him.
Exactly.
And I don't think that I would have. There's a lot of ways that Toy Bar could have gone throughout the campaign. I started to go down the more dark path with him.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't having fun with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't as entertaining. It would have turned the whole party into just straight killers. Which would have been fine. I just didn't like that there would have been no contrast to the character personality at that point than, say, from your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we had Flint.
And there's Rama that was our conscious, our heart.
Yeah, but this is me looking at the players at the table and going, she's not really going to stop anything that I have Toy Bar do if it was bad. Whereas, like, if you were, say, playing a good character, like hers, like, as a player, you would have been more opinionated if I tried to do something messed up to be like, hey,
what are you doing, man?
My character's, hey, what are you doing? He's going to try something. Like, whereas she, because she doesn't have all the fundamentals down, maybe would have thought of that, but not soon enough in the moment to make an impact. So I just felt like I felt the offsetting of my character being a happy-go-lucky Fey type, loosely chaotic, offset your character very well.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.